Hello, this is Emily Norris, Vice President of Operations and Culture. I hope you're doing great. I'm here with you to give you a quick overview on how you can start using and leveraging our newest presentation tool, CorePresent. So first and foremost, we're going to get logged in to My Harry Norman office. Once we are in My Harry Norman office, we're going to select the hamburger drop down. We're going to select the CRM website drop down, and we are going to navigate to Rev CRM. Once you are inside Rev CRM, we're going to navigate to the left-hand dashboard, and we are going to scroll down to All Marketing, and we are going to select CorePresent. Once we're in CorePresent, you're going to see that there are 4 main presentation options available for you to use and customize. We're going to focus our attention on winning the listing today. This is going to be used, of course, when you're preparing for a seller consultation and you want to include a comparative market analysis, or when you are preparing a real estate review. Your other option is selecting win the offer, and that we are creating for a buyer to help them feel confident about the offer that they are potentially going to make on the property they are interested in, so they feel comfortable with that financial investment. Present info, you will use that when you are wanting to do a pre-listing packet, or when you're wanting to do a pre-buyer packet as well, to let any prospective client know a little bit about you and a little bit about your brand, Harry Norman. Buyer tour. This is a really great interactive buyer tour that you can create prior to taking a buyer out on showing appointments. You can see it gives you a map as well, so they know exactly the locations of the properties that you'll be previewing, and it pulls in all of the property information and property details from the MLS. Okay, so as I said, we're going to spend our time in Win the Listing to create a seller packet that includes a comparative market analysis today. Before we do that, we're going to look at customization settings, so that if you're interested in including an About Me section, or you're interested in including testimonials, you can add those to have incorporated into your presentation. So let's select customization settings. And it is clearly thinking about our customization settings. Let's try to refresh that. Okay, there we go. And here we are. We're going to select personalize under the About Me section. It pulls in your headshot from My Harry Norman office and the headshot that you have on our website. If you have another image that you prefer to use, you can select this edit button here. Navigate to where you have that picture saved that you want to include, and we can open it here. And you can see I'm signed in and impersonating Carrie Calla to give you a full agent experience. So as you may or may not know, Carrie has an assistant. It's a 4-legged friend named Dolly. So she might want to include that to give a little bit of personality for a prospective client to connect to. So we've uploaded that picture here, and then you can see we have a text box that's open format, so you can copy and paste your bio from your website into this section, or you can type in your About Me section here. You could do bullet points as well if you want it to read a little more like a resume. You can see there's different options to bold, italicize, you can change the size, and you can change the format, okay? If you want to have the image displayed, of course, we'll leave it on and you'll upload your photo accordingly. If not, you can slide that to off, and there will be no image, only the text that you use. Okay, so, and you can see how you can play around with the text there. Okay, once you get this page to however you like, you'll hit save and continue. We are going to close out since we don't want to create anything on Carrie's behalf today. And then with testimonials. So testimonials, it is another open form text box. So you would type in the testimonial here or copy and paste the testimonials as they appear on your website. So I'm going to include example testimonial here so that you can see what that text looks like, and then you would put your client name there. Okay, again, you have the option here to change the size of what that testimonial looks like. Probably have to change the size of it and then start typing. Okay, and then you could hit save and continue. If you have another site that you would like to link from for testimonials, you can add a link here. So you would add the link title and then the URL for those reviews. Okay, so you would save and continue after you have added your testimonials accordingly there. Again, we don't want to save these testimonials here for Carrie. So today we're going to select the X, but once you include your testimonials accordingly, you'll want to make sure and save and continue so that you can pull that page into your presentation. Okay. So we're going to go back to our home page now that we've done the customizations. Also, I want to bring to your attention under presentation library, if you have any presentation pages that have already been customized and created for you that you want to add in as a slide, you'll select this right here, this button that says add a slide, and you'll see that that gives you the ability to add your own content to the library of available slides within your CorePresent tool. So we would select add a slide. You can use their template, but again, if you already have that created, say a marketing coordinator has created that for you, you can upload your own content right here. Okay, so you can do that without a header, or you can do it with a header. And this is what your header looks like. So if you already have your logo, if the Harry Norman brand is already on that customized page, maybe you do it without. We would then hit save and add to library so that that personalized page could be added into your presentation template. Again, we don't have one to add. We don't want to save anything that is not accurate for Carrie. So we are going to select the X button and we are going to go back to our home screen here. Okay. So right here, we're going to select win the listing to get started, making our first seller presentation within CorePresent that will include a comparative market analysis. So right here, we select win the listing, and they want the subject properties address for the prospective seller that you will be working with. So we're going to type in 7 East Drive, Northeast. And you can see that it is pulling addresses from Google. And there we have our address. we're going to select next once we have that address, and you'll see that it automatically pulls in subject property details from the public records, okay? So this is what is available via the public records for the specific address, that it's a single family property with a 3-bedroom count. Here is the square footage that it is showing via the public records, and here is the year that it was built via the public records, okay? So you can either confirm these details and go next to view the comparable details that it pulls, or you can adjust this as needed. So let's say that we know that there was an additional bedroom added, we can include that here. Or maybe we know that they also had a survey done when they had that extra bedroom added, so we might have a different square footage to include here in the living area size, and you could, edit that accordingly. Okay, the 4-bedroom count, but the details that the public record pulled in for this particular property were correct. So we can do those details, and we're going to go next to view the comparable properties that CorePresent has pulled in on our behalf. Okay, so you can see it has automatically pulled in a total of 13 matches. You can see at the bottom here that are the most comparable properties to the subject property that we identified as 7 East Drive, and that you can see is right here where this orange home is located, okay? So you'll see at the top, here is the comparable criteria that CorePresent used to pull these subject properties that you see in this map. We see that it's a single family home. We used 3 beds, and the square footage range that was used was 1,430 to 2,144 square feet. It used all years of built, and it has pulled data that is reflective over the last 6 months. The radius that it defaults to is 1 mile, but you can see you can change that as close to the subject or as far as 15 miles away, okay? You'll see here along the side, there's an option for property type, so you can change this accordingly based on the property type that you are pulling the CMA on. You can change the range of what years that it is pulling with those comparables as well. You can change the close dates as you would like, all the way back to 24 months. You can see you can change the bed count, the square footage, the total size. And if you notice that there might be a property or two that was not automatically included in the properties that CorePresent pulled back, we can add that manually here, okay? And so let's scroll back up and let's take a closer look at the properties that CorePresent did pull as most comparable. You'll see anything that is filled in completely means that it was included in the presentation. And you can see there's a total of 13 that should be filled in. And then you'll see others that are technically close by that subject property, but did not fit within these comparable criteria that's laid out here, okay? So the nice option is you can hover right over and click on the properties that are included so that you can get an idea of, okay, why is CorePresent saying that this is most comparable to the subject property that I'm preparing this presentation for? So you can see this was a recent sale. It aligns with our bed count, and it's just slightly larger. We can select more info here, and we can see a look of what this home looks like. Okay. So we have all the pictures as they're uploaded in the multiple listing service. And you can see on the map right here, this connects to Google Maps. So it is an interactive map, and it shows you exactly the close proximity of this home to your subject property. You can see right here, it also pulls in all of the listed information within the MLS. It was listed for $780. It sold at $760. It was on the market for 17 days. It has all of the listing description as it was provided in the MLS. And then you can see other comparable details across the top as well. Okay, as an example of a property that was not included, we see this little button right here that has a red outline but a gray middle. That is an indication that it was not added to the comparables within this report. So let's take a look here. We see right away that perhaps it was not included because it's a 2-bedroom house. And again, the criteria that we had put in was the 3 bedrooms. And we also see that it's 32% smaller. So we can click on it to take a look. And we see maybe the CorePresent record was accurate, that this is not necessarily the best reflection of a comparable property to our subject, but we wanted to check it out for ourselves, so we closed that away. All right, and then let's do another example of another property is included. This one right here is a pending match. You can see at the bottom all of the labels for each of the categories that are within the matches. In this match right here, list price of $800, list date of May the 4th, so that's a recent, and then it's 3 bedrooms. It's supposedly 19% smaller, which is a pretty negligible amount. So I would assume that is why it still gave us this home as an option. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so we see this home here and all of the details on this pending sale. We agree this one does look like a pretty viable comparative, so we'll keep it. But if you did find any of the other properties within this report that you did not want to include to present to that prospective seller, you would just remove it from your comps, and then it would no longer be included in your total matches. So let's continue on our merry way, building this CMA. We're going to select our next button along the bottom. And now we see here when we're building the CMA, we have this competitive price line. And this competitive price line here, it shows us an average of the comps that have sold, giving us a couple of standout buttons for the highest sale, the closest sold, meaning the closest in proximity, and then the most recent sold. It does not have the pendings on this first view, but if we select the pending here, it populates so that we can easily display that to the client. Okay, right now, this is just included in the overall calculations. So the CMA builder is taking this pending sale into consideration with their quote unquote suggested pricing range. But it's not featured on that price line. If we did want to have it featured on the price line scale, we would star that feature, and then we would close this out. And now we see this as a pending sale on our competitive price line, okay? I had mentioned that it would not calculate the range if it wasn't either liked or a feature. This would be right here where you could add your own price or give a quote unquote range of value. But as we've discussed in detail, we might want to have that strategic pricing conversation in person with that prospective seller, right? And not necessarily name a price for them. So you might want to consider leaving this blank, okay? So we can scroll down once we have reviewed that information, and we see that we are going to also have a market assessment available to us that we can include within our presentation as well to give that prospective seller a few quick high points that helps them understand what's happening in the local market as it relates to their neighborhood or area. So we see right here that it's going to give us an average monthly list price, sale price, and this takes into consideration the average of all monthly active and pending comparables. It will give you a fresh/sale score, which would mean it would give you the count of the average days on market of active inventory. Since we don't have any active inventory currently and we only have pending, that's why there's nothing available here. It gives us the selling pace based on the sold homes that were included in the report. It gives us a quick price per square foot, a rate of change between what the listed price was and the recorded sold price was. And then again, it gives you the current shelf life of the average days of the comps that are on the market. But again, this is not available because there's no inventory on the market currently within this neighborhood, okay? So we are going to continue on here to create our presentation. Okay, and you can see along the top here, we have various themes that you're able to choose from. We have traditional, modern, and luxury. These themes are going to be seen the most when we look at some of the slides that are presented by KV Core. So this graph, for instance, here is what it looks like as a traditional graph. Here's what it looks like as modern. And then here's what it looks like as luxury. Personally, I like the look of the modern graph and the way that that reads. I feel like it's easy to read and very intuitive, and it helps to give me the best talking points for this particular slide. So I'm going to choose the modern theme. We can also see at the top, we automatically defaulted to our introduction slide. Within the introduction slide, you can see that we can edit the text that's on this slide, and we can also choose to add an image. So let's add an image here. I'm going to browse the computer and go into downloads because I believe that's where we have some great stock photos that I downloaded for this demonstration. There we go. We have a beautiful image of our subject property. So we're going to select to use that photo. Okay, and now we have that beautiful cover photo included on the first page of our presentation. You also have the ability there to edit the name of the presentation if you would like, and as you see fit. So let's go on down to our Harry Norman branded slides. So you can see the slides that are automatically a default in your presentation. These are beautiful new slides that our marketing team has refreshed from what you may have seen in Toolkit CMA. So right here is a wonderful graph on or wonderful image, excuse me, on the strength of Harry Norman in the market. So you can see all of our office locations and then the production and how highly productive our company is as a whole. You also have our Atlanta's First in Luxury slide. So you can talk about how working with a Harry Norman Realtor differentiates you by access of all of our luxury affiliates, having more luxury affiliates than any of our competitors within the Atlanta market. We have our core values here that we use as a differentiator in how we work and approach our clients and prospective clients, so that they know that you will always be a trusted advisor working with authenticity, integrity, community focused, and giving back to the communities that you work and you serve. You'll demonstrate professional excellence and rich relationships, which we all know is a very competitive advantage to have great co-op relationships, both within Harry Norman and outside of Harry Norman in our current market. We can scroll down and we're going to see that we also have a little bit of information on the community focus and the communities that we serve. And this gives a snippet of the nonprofit organizations that we help to make an impact on each year. Information on our brand as a whole and the national presence that we offer our clients exposure to as being an affiliate of Home Services of America. With over 44,500 associates operating in 928 branch offices, and giving them a connection to the best in class for not only real estate services, but mortgage, title, and insurance as well. And of course, the proof is in the pudding with all of the sales that we had being $168.3 billion in the last year. This is that KV core slide that is automatically included and crafted through CorePresent. So you can see that this slide though gives you a really nice visual of what the home selling process looks like, so that you can be that trusted advisor guiding that prospective seller along the process of what it's going to look like to sell their home. Let's say that you are working with a prospective seller though, and you have worked with them through multiple home selling experiences. If you did not want to include this slide, you could easily X out that slide at the top, and you'll see that it is no longer on this left-hand side here in your presentation view. Okay, so we got rid of that one. And then this other slide that we have defaulted to is the success of our brokerage specifically. And this gives them a taste of how Harry Norman has outperformed the market. And this is in all FMLS areas. So our 6 core counties, we are averaging 38% higher than our other brokers that we compete with. Okay, so we might want to leave that in there as well, so that we can demonstrate our excellence, our professional excellence, and our productivity within the market, so that they have confidence in selling with us. There are other slides that you can choose from to add as well. Okay, so we see right here the testimonials page that we had started to create. We have a page that is provided by CorePresent on the value of an agent. We have that home selling process, and you'll see any slide that's not included says not included at the bottom. Any slide that has already been included, you will see grayed out here along the screen. We see that our relocation service isn't included, but this is something that we want to include for this particular client. So we have chosen to select that. So now that it is included, we are also a member of Success Circle, which isn't an automatic default. So we want to select that to have that included for this presentation. And that will do it on the slides that we want to include. Oh, additionally, we do want to have this one-sheeter included for our CMA. That is not automatically a default inclusion. And this just gives a snapshot and kind of a lead in for you to be able to present that comparative market analysis that you just created. So we'll select to include that as well. And you can see at the bottom here, in order to have those included into our presentation, we'll need to select add selected slides. Okay. So now you can see here that we have the relocation impact. We have our Success Circle slide. And then we also have the lead-in slide that gives the high-level overview and details of what's included in the comparative market analysis that we pulled. If we want to change the order of any of these slides, you can see that we simply hover over the slide and we'll have the hand that appears. We click, right-click down and drag up to wherever we would like that slide moved. Okay, so you can see it's easy there to drag and drop. And again, easy to remove any slide that we don't want to include by selecting the X. Okay. So there we have those slides, and that was the first section of the presentation, the introduction. Now we can go into the next section of what's my home worth. And this is where your comparative market analysis is the real star of the show. So we want to have both of these graphs included. Again, you can go into adding more slides as well. There is some great information provided by KV Core on pricing misconceptions, if you'd like to add that as well to kind of dispel any pricing misconceptions that this prospective seller maybe has seen on Zillow or Trulia. Any of those AVM models that may have provided a value that might not be the most accurate. And then again, another KV Core provided slide that you have the option of including as well on where buyers get their information, so that your seller is kind of understanding, okay, what's the mindset going to look like of the buyer looking within this market in this area. Okay, if you don't want to add any of these and you feel good with what's already included, we can just select out of that there and continue on our way. Under the market analysis, again, this is helping to paint a picture to that prospective seller. What's really happening in the local market relative to the location of the subject property in the seller's home. Information included from KV Core on the importance of pricing correctly, which we know is extremely valuable to reiterate in the current market that we're in to sellers. This is another great and helpful infographic on the importance of opening weekend and how that really correlates to the odds of being able to get their home sold above list price. So again, pricing that property correctly so that you get as many buyer eyes on that home straight away in that first weekend that the home is on the market, showing that that has a great impact on the odds of selling above list price and the demand of a property. You can see that there's also another slide not currently included as the default, but that you can certainly include. That is another CorePresent default slide on what factors influence pricing. Okay, so let's say we want to include that one as well. So we've selected it. Now we've included all of the available slides within this market analysis section. We're going to hit add selected at the bottom here. We can scroll down and we'll see the next section is on marketing and buyer activity. So this section here is for you to demonstrate the Harry Norman marketing that generates results. You'll see that this beautiful slide is very much aligned with the new look of our website as well. So you can see here that this is really easy to read and gives the prospective seller a good idea of, okay, not only the digital presence that their home will have, but also the various print outlets that we advertise in as a brand to generate more results and more attention back to our website where their home will be featured. We also have our information within this section that is related to our affiliation with leading real estate companies of the world, which they can see right here the level of exposure that you were able to bring to their property by our affiliation with leading real estate companies of the world. Okay. Below that, they can also see our family of services partners. And again, this is just something else that you're wanting to present to that seller as an advantage of working with you and the great relationships that we have with other industry experts to ensure that they have a seamless experience through the selling process. But let's say we don't feel like this is perfectly fitting at this location. We can always drag that down. And maybe that's something that we would want to talk about after we've talked about our luxury affiliates, which you can see those pages immediately above. So we will place that right here. And we'll scroll back up to look at the other information that's included as default on luxury portfolio. You can see that our marketing team has done a beautiful job of adding captivating graphics with more concise information on the advantages of our luxury affiliates. And then we have a CorePresent slide as well that is included for you to use, and it's on the importance of staging. So perhaps staging is something that you always use and embrace as an advantage for your sellers. You might want to include this as well so that they can understand how it can have a huge impact on the overall success of their home. Along the bottom here, you can see you can add any other slides as well. There are several others that are not included as that default, but you can also see we've included a large portion of the slides that are available within CorePresent, which give you plenty of talking points to be able to build your case on why working with you as the real estate trusted advisor is the most sound decision that they could make. So we're going to go out of that. We're going to see what the next steps look like. And that next steps is just a call to action to work with you, contact you, and get the party started with selling their home. Okay. So now that we have gone through building the CMA, we've created the presentation and included all of the slides that are Harry Norman branded and branded to you that you would like to include for this prospective selling opportunity. So we're going to present and share. And I'm going to suggest that you try to take advantage of CorePresent by using the web presentation mode. As you can see, let's open our presentation. And if you are using the web version, you can see it's not only beautiful, but any page that this icon appears on is interactive, meaning while you're making your presentation, not only is it beautiful, but you can also interact with the comparables in live time by clicking on the screen. So they can see the comps that are included. And we can select next here. And it will give you all of the pictures of the comparables that are included. We still have all of our details along this right-hand side here that are automatically pulled from the MLS. It gives us our market assessment, which all of these are interactive as well and open up into more detailed graphs to help explain the statistics that are being displayed. And here we have some of those CorePresent slides that we selected to include, which all generate a compelling reason that that seller would want to work with you as their listing agent. So you can see also with the web version, it gives the call to action, okay, let's get started, which you could link to a listing agreement, or they could select that they need more time or information. But let's go back here. You can see right here that you can easily copy this onto your clipboard and then email it from your Outlook email. You have the option of adding the listing agreement here. You can add a net sheet if you have more information on their mortgage to pay off and etc. You can even add a video link so that if you were sending this before your appointment, you can do a customized, personalized video to start off this warm welcome with working with you as their prospective listing agent. Here's where we went to open the presentation. You also have the ability to download and print the presentation. I would say the download and print, though, is most effective for the buyer tour because they can interact with that buyer tour on the map. This is going to be most impactful if you are using this web presentation and you're walking through it in person with that prospective seller. Okay, so let's go back to our CorePresent homepage here, and you're going to see along the bottom of the screen all of the presentations that we have created. Here's the most recent presentation that we created. You'll see here that there is an update button. That update button, once you select update, it brings you back into the presentation. It's going to refresh that comparative market analysis that you've pulled and bring in any new properties that have hit the market since you first created this presentation. It'll change the status of properties as they go under contract, become pending sales, and as they close. You'll see here, this is the dashboard that you'll go to access the web version of your presentation when you are in front of that prospective seller and ready to show off this beautiful presentation, ready to talk them through and physically show them all the comparables that are included. And along this dashboard as well, you'll see where you could download as a PDF to print. You'll see where you can do quick actions to email this presentation directly from CorePresent, which ultimately is linked to your KV Core dashboard and that prospective seller's record so that all of your communication is streamlined. You're provided with notices when any client interacts with the presentation, if you're sending it beforehand or after your actual meeting. And here's where you go, where you can actually delete a presentation. So you can delete this presentation here. You could hit yes, but no, we don't want to delete that. We want to keep that for our upcoming presentation, okay? As you create presentations, as you start to have your prospective clients engage, you'll also have statistics along the dashboard in CorePresent as well that can help give you a little bit more intel on the success of the presentations that you have created. That's all for today. If there are more assistance and help that you need, be sure to also check out this help and FAQ section for commonly asked questions. But please, I invite you to hop in to CorePresent, play around, explore, and use this to win more listings, win more opportunities for your buyers, and overall give your business a beautiful branded marketing packet for every client that you meet. Have a great day.